keeping Maryland in the very forefront of developing the strongest ethical safeguards in the country for elected officials. Senator Peters.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Raskin, Senator Miller, for introducing this. Very quickly, this is a very common sense bill. It continues the theme of open government and transparency. And having served as a city council person and a county council person and now as a state official, I have filled out all the different forms, and I've always tried to figure out why they're not the same. So by far, the state forms provide much more disclosure for the public and the press, and so we're just looking for alignment here. Thank you.
Okay, the next issue is state retirees, the prevention of a decrease in their retirement.
Senator Roby, my vice chair.
Senator Patton and Senator Roby.
Current economic situation has resulted in a negative cost of living adjustment for retirees of the state pension systems, which includes state employees, teachers, and the state police. The average benefit decrease would be $72 per retiree. The state actuaries never contemplated this sort of negative cost of living adjustment. Neither did the state retirees. This bill is simple. It caps the COLA at a 0 increase for 1 year. This means retirees will not see a benefit decrease this year. We're talking about retired teachers, state employees, and hard-working state police officers. Since the actuaries never contemplated a negative cost of living adjustment, there's no fiscal note for this bill. No fiscal note. No one is expecting increases, but as I mentioned above, our retirees living on fixed income could never have planned for a decrease. Could we make a few anticipated bucks on the backs of our retirees? Yes, we could. But it would be wrong. This bill is about fairness and honoring our commitment to our retirees without incurring greater obligations for our state.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I know during these very difficult times, the employees and the retirees feel like they're being dumped on by the budget situation we're facing right now. And this, as the Senator said, this is simply the right thing to do. These folks have suffered enough. They're on fixed incomes. The cost of everything is going up. And instead of reaching into their pocket and taking another average $72 out, we're saying we understand these are difficult times. We'll make it right for 1 year, and hopefully the economy improves better. So I thank the Senator and President for allowing us to go forward.
Next, we have an issue dealing with misuse of credit reports by potential employers. We have Senators Lynette and Pugh.
Thank you. Could I also call up Delegate Resnick as well?
Please.
Thank you. I also would like to thank the President for putting together this package of bills that I think reflects some of the core values we have in the Democratic caucus. This bill that I'm proud to support with my colleagues here is what we call the Equal Employment Protection Act. As we know, the economy has hit people very hard. And one thing we have to accomplish this session is help people get back to work and hasten our exit out of this recession. If we're going to pull out of this economy, we have to break down barriers that are out there that are blocking the unemployed from getting back into the workforce. And one of those barriers that we're hearing from our constituents is the increasing use by employers of credit reports to deny people jobs. Recent reports indicate that it's up to 40 to 45% now of employers who are using this type of credit screening for job hiring. How will the unemployed get back to work if they're barred from employment because of financial difficulties that caused their job loss in the first place? Obviously, that's a terrible catch-22 and a vicious cycle. The more people are can't get jobs, they can't fix their credit report history, and if they can't fix that, they're not going to get back to work, and on and on and on. It's just a spiral downward. This bill would prohibit the use of credit reports to deny people jobs. Credit reports were meant to determine creditworthiness, not jobworthiness. And I think we all share an interest in trying to get people back to work. And I thank my colleagues for the support that they've given to this legislation. I'd like to turn it over to Senator Pugh and Delegate Resnick.
Let me just say that we've begun these discussions last year as it relates to how do we improve the lives of people in our state. And last night I had over 200, and you stopped by, had over 200 residents from Baltimore City. And I asked the question, how many people have been bothered by this kind of thing happening to them? And many people talked about it at the event last night, but did not want to go on record as saying, you know what, I don't want them pulling my credit report. But what they did say was that they were very grateful that we would put in this kind of legislation because they felt that this has been a barrier to many people getting employment. And so we look forward to pushing this legislation. We look forward to its passage. And I thank both of my colleagues for working on this and for seeing what this will mean to the public in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, President Miller, for letting me back here into these august chambers. It doesn't happen very often, so I'm glad to be here. And I want to thank my colleagues on the Senate, Pugh and Lynette, who have cross-filed this bill with me. They both said much of the importance of what this bill does. Let me highlight one other thing. Too often, a lot of times employers will look for other reasons to have to hire somebody and will use a credit report as the excuse. So for example, you're entitled by current law to explain away what might be detrimental on your credit report. So imagine having to go before a potential employer and explain your cancer treatment that has caused you to have a bankruptcy or poor credit. And that employer thinking, well, I don't want my company's insurance premiums to go up. I'm not going to hire this person. Imagine having to go before an employer and explain away your divorce or explain away some other tragedy that has caused your credit score to drop. Traditionally, historically, minorities have had poor credit scores. Is that an excuse that employers could be using not to hire minorities? Historically, young people who have not had a chance to build up their credit have lower credit scores. Is that an excuse that employers could be using not to hire somebody? This is a direct assault on somebody getting a job, and it's also an indirect assault on somebody getting a job. There's no purpose for it. What we have found is that an employer is just as likely to throw darts at a wall full of resumes and find somebody as responsible as using a credit report to determine their responsibility as an employee. So I hope that we can push this through both chambers, have the governor sign it, and make this law by this year. Thank you.
Finally, folks, I'm going to just close with this announcement. I got a letter several weeks ago from Senator Nancy King, who's here, I believe, and was here. And also, we have Senator Catherine Klossmeyer here as chairman of the Rules Committee. Senator King raised the question of transparency. We've never really had an issue with this in the Senate. In fact, no one's ever brought it to my attention before this year in terms of committee votes, because, you know, I always thought they were posted as expeditiously as possible. In fact, in the Senate, they're always in the Journal, the committee votes. But what we've decided to order administratively, the Senate votes to be posted online as expeditiously as possible. And we're working with our staff to find a way to make that to happen. Obviously, it's they're handwritten notations after the committee vote, and there's possible reconsiderations and issues like that. But we're going to find a way to get them online, hopefully by second readers. Each bill comes up on second reader on the Senate. The committee vote will be online, but we're going to make it online to the public as quickly as possible. In fact, the chairman of the Rules Committee is going to bring together the Rules Committee, and the Senate Minority Leader, Senator Kittleman, has proposed a rule that we've agreed to work with in terms of guaranteeing that they'll be online within 10 days. Within 10 days, within 10 calendar days, the Department of Legislative Services should have it online within 10 days. But we hope to have it done much quicker than that. For example, if the committee votes on Friday, then we hopefully can have it online by Monday or Tuesday. That they can get the reports, move it to Legislative Services, get it online. So hopefully we can have them online within 2 or 3 days, and certainly by the time the bill comes to the floor of the Senate on second reader. So we're going to move forward in that area. You know, the Senate is going to begin in about 10 minutes, and so what I'll let you do is there's some senators here. You might want to discuss these issues, various issues. I'm sorry we don't have time for a lot of questions, but they're going to be available for at least 10, 15 minutes. If you have any questions of myself, we'll be around to answer any questions, okay? That's it. Thank you. Thank you so much.